Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, I am so excited. We're going to be covering Lady C's book. That's right, Lady Colin Campbell has the book Meghan and Harry, the real story. So today we're going to be discussing chapter 1, and I just got to go ahead and tell you, I love this book. I couldn't believe from the very first page how much it's just so well written. She uses the best, most colorful language. It's got me riveted right off the bat. And I already know the stories and what happens, but I don't know. She teases stuff to come, and I can't wait to keep going. I'm so excited. So a huge thank you to everybody who recommended this book. I can't wait to dive in. Just a huge thank you for being here. If you want to further support the show, check out Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. We have a lot of fun over there. It's a great group. We're having lively discussions in the comments. Jay and I have been breaking down interviews given and different things that have popped up in the news with Harry and Meghan, so I definitely encourage you to check it out. I will be thanking my executive producers, and if you're interested in becoming one, again, patreon.com. Okay, let's get into Harry and Meghan, the real story. I haven't come up with a fun way to say this one yet. Lady C. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll give it some thought. But anyway, I'm so excited. Oh, let's get into this book. We all know who Lady C is, but just in case you don't, I highly recommend you check out her YouTube channel. She's just different. She's fun, and I mean that lovingly, truly. She's got a different personality that I just really like. She has a certain way of speaking. She has a fun elegance about her. I want to come back as one of her dogs in my next life because she loves her dogs so much. And it's fun to see her with them. And she's just a lot of fun. So I was very excited to get into this book, and it did not disappoint. Chapter 1, I'm completely hooked. I guess if I can't come back as one of her dogs, I want to come back as one of her headbands. I just love her. She's just so much fun. Okay, so we start off chapter 1, and it sets the scene of May 19th, 2018. We know that. That's the wedding day. So it talks about Meghan stepping out of the antique Rolls Royce, and basically, she goes into the statements that the brides make on their wedding day. She refers to Diana, which of course she did write a book about. I know at least one, maybe more. But she's written about Diana, and she sounds like she's friends with Diana's friends. Lady C is a very cool person. She knows all of the who's who and seems to get the best stories, which I love. Again, it adds to the book. But she says all bridal gowns make statements. Diana, Princess of Wales, according to her friend Caroline Pride, used hers to announce to the world, "Here I am, take notice. I'm not a bit shy and intend everyone to know who I am." Catherine Middleton stated, "I'm stylish, athletic, and traditional. I aim to please. I relish my femininity. I possess exquisite but conservative taste, with just a hint of daring beneath the surface." Now, they go into Meghan's. She says Meghan's not only conveyed that she loves clothes, was a feminine woman despite her avowed feminism, and something of an impact specialist where presentation is concerned, but also that she was thoughtful, considered, deliberate, and aware individual. And I will say Lady C does a good job when she starts out. She's paying all these compliments, and you might be like, well, where's the downside? Oh, it's coming. But she does do a good job of painting the initial hope that we all had for them and the excitement that we had for Meghan and Harry. Just Meghan in general joining the royal family. Beneath that, however, there was controversy. The Queen was said to have been surprised when her soon-to-be granddaughter-in-law, who was already married and divorced, had chosen virginal white in defiance of all accepted custom in royal and aristocratic circles. So the idea was that she shouldn't have worn a color lighter than cream. But Meghan was starting out as she intended to continue. Royal and aristocratic traditions were of scant importance to someone whose self-belief was so rock solid. Man, Lady Colin Campbell has a way of speaking, doesn't she? She does. Again, she's doing a wonderful job of painting the excitement that we all felt without going too dark right off the bat. So traditionally, when the couple gets married, they sign the register, they rejoin the congregation, and the custom is that the bride curtsies to the queen and the groom bows. It's always been done that way and expected that it would be done that way this day. Princess Anne did it at her 2 weddings. Diana did it. Catherine did it. Princess Alexandra, you name it. Sophie did it. Duchess of York, Kent, Cambridge, etc. However, as Meghan rejoined the congregation and set about walking down the aisle with a beaming Prince Harry by her side, she omitted to curtsy when passing by the Queen. No one could believe it. She walked out, sailed down the aisle without so much as the merest bob in the direction of Her Majesty. So Lady C goes on to point out the Queen is not on record having made a comment or a complaint about it, but she will have noticed everyone did. My own thought here, Lady C didn't say this. It's just rude and disrespectful. You know, I love and support the Queen. Why didn't Harry say, we're doing this? Was he that afraid of her already? I know what Meghan wants, Meghan gets, but I'm just saying, like, it's just so rude and it just, I would say it's the beginning of the end, but it actually sounds like it started before that, as Lady C will go into. Lady C says, like many of the people present, I put Meghan's omission down to nervousness and forgetfulness. It really is easy for people who are not used to royal ways to forget each and every dance step in the choreography of royal life. But not everyone took so benevolent a view, especially as the run-up to the wedding had been fraught with scenes, tantrums, demands, most of which were carefully concealed from the public. Although by the time of the wedding, they were well known in court circles. Woo! Intrigue. I love it. So Meghan was unwittingly making waves. This was laying the ground for the misunderstandings and bad feelings that would soon characterize relations between the couple and many of the people close to them. So with the wisdom of hindsight, it's obvious that Harry should have nipped things in the bud before they degenerated further by pointing out to Meghan that she needed to adopt a more British approach. He should have explained that what works in the film industry in Hollywood goes down like a lead balloon in Britain. People would not admire her for her ballsiness, but began to resent her for what he and she might admire as forthrightness, but they would deplore as being difficult, demanding, and brash. So Lady C explains, Harry, up until then, had enjoyed a reputation for affability, even though they knew him to be hot-headed and emotional, and that he would often take things personally where he needed to take a step back. Where have we heard this before? But it sounds like he started throwing his weight around, playing alpha male, protecting his, quote, little woman as he backed Meghan up, even when he must have known the more positive response would have been to have a quiet word with her, instead of endlessly repeating the mantra, quote, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. So in doing so, he not only allowed her to continue getting people's backs up quite unnecessarily, they antagonized those who had previously had a high opinion of him. In reality, he was adding fuel to the fire where he could easily douse the flames with one part knowledge and the second part wisdom. So she goes on to say, a case in point was the fuss Harry and Meghan made over that damn emerald tiara. So we know the story, right? That Eugenie's wedding had to be pushed back because the way it worked is, of course, he outranks her, so he got to be married first. He took precedence over her, and so it would be unfair to deprive Eugenie of the tiara she had chosen. This had once belonged to Grand Duchess Zina of Russia. The Queen had promised Eugenie the use of it. That should have been it, right? And it would have been it, except for Meghan decided that she wanted to wear that one. And Harry was so eager to please her and to fulfill her every wish, that he neglected to point out that she couldn't be lent something that Eugenie had already been promised. So Lady C explains, yes, Meghan did have a choice on a few selections. She couldn't just come in and scoop up whatever jewels she wanted to wear as if by right. She has no right to anything. All she can do is accept a loan, and a loan moreover, that means that the lower down the order of precedence she is, the more limited her choice. Well, you can imagine how that went over with Harold and Fraud, as we've heard. But Lady C explains Meghan wanted this one because it was more spectacular, but also its history was more romantic and exotic. Too bad, so sad, already promised to Eugenie. So the Queen was put in the position via her trusted dresser and good friend Angela Kelly to make it clear to Harry and Meghan that they would have to accept what was on offer and not demand what was not. Now remember, Harry went on to talk crazy shit about Angela in his book. They could not stand her, and obviously it's because she was put in the position to tell these two spoiled brats no. And this is where I love Lady C's writing. Again, I'm only a couple of pages in, and she's pointing out, listen, the matter could have just rested there, and no one would have known. Nobody would have been any the wiser. But no, Harry and Meghan have to make an almighty fuss, not only about the tiara, but about things like the scent of St. George's Chapel and the ingredients about certain dishes that were being prepared for the wedding. Meghan apparently did all this questioning of the people that were there to help her and ended up causing great offense to staff members. She ended up implying that somebody that was helping with the wedding was a liar because Meghan claimed to be able to taste the existence of an ingredient. I wish Lady C had said which ingredient, but she didn't. But Meghan claimed to be able to taste the existence of an ingredient which she had banned from a dish. Wow. Just wow. It was then that they had to be talked to that royals don't speak to their staff like that. Again, Harry has no balls. Why are you not speaking up? Again, I think he was already drinking the Kool-Aid, it sounds like at this point, and he was being horrible to staff as well. And when discussing the scent of St. George's Chapel, and can I just digress for a second and say that is one of my favorite places I have been. St. George's, I've been lucky enough to walk through. It's so breathtakingly beautiful. It's at Windsor. It's just gorgeous. I hear it's like one of the Queen's favorite places. It's where she's laid to rest right now. And it's just a stunning, stunning building. I just loved it so much. Just gorgeous. I hate that these two are affiliated with that place. But anyway, so Meghan didn't like how it smelled. So she raised a kerfuffle about it and floated the idea of having it sprayed with a perfume of her choice. It went down like a lead balloon. As one courtier told me, quote, this is great, ready for this? We were really astonished to find that this minor TV actress from California was so demanding that she was giving us the message that we should up our game and satisfy her and her much higher standards. Oh, brilliant. I love it. I love that. I love her. I love that Lady C called her a minor TV actress from California. But Lady C says once again that Harry, quote, kept on saying what she wanted she must be given. So according to Lady C and her sources, this was a repeated theme. Wow. But the royal family were trying to make them happy, but of course the victims never saw it as much of an effort. Wow. Lady C goes on to say that Meghan and Harry were, quote, belittling staff and making them feel devalued. As far as she and Harry were concerned, Meghan was their victim. They were not hers. So the rumblings of Harold and Fraud's bad behavior started even before the marriage. They were rubbing people the wrong way, but Lady C points out everyone had just kind of hoped things would settle down once they were married. That Meghan could dampen down her California ways, and Harry, who is rapidly alienating his admirers and gaining a, quote, well-earned reputation for throwing his weight around in a wholly unacceptable manner, would revert to the right-on, lovable bloke he had been up until then. No one foresaw that Meghan and Harry were on a roll and that they would spark each other to even greater heights, that they would not buckle to any opposition, that they regarded those who stood in their way as needlessly obstructive, and that if they didn't get their way, they'd decamp. Lady C goes on to explain how people really wanted the marriage to be a success. Once it was apparent that Harry was determined to marry Meghan, the whole royal family, the court, etc., they all fell into line. She discusses how the British press and the general public, everybody, were excited about this, and they also embraced, quote, Meghan's mixed race heritage. That she goes on to talk about the other mixed race unions in the royal house, different royal houses, and how the feeling was that it was high time for the British royal family to be caught up with their continental cousins. But it ended up becoming an opportunity for Harry and Meghan to spin things, and with the American press and, specifically, they convinced him into thinking that Meghan was a victim of racism in Britain, where nothing could have been further from the truth. She goes back to the wedding and says, one had hoped after such a brilliant start that the couple would have continued to be as feted and admired as they were on their wedding day. Meghan and Harry both let it be known that they were deeply committed to their work, which would revolve around charitable and humanitarian activities. I'm laughing because, again, knowing how all this turned out. Yet 4 days after the wedding, she was having dinner, talking about Lady C, she was having dinner at an influential aristocrat's house. I just love it. I want to be at that dinner party. My goodness. Come sit next to me. We'll talk crap about Harry and Meghan. So she was at dinner, and she said this person has impeccable palace connections, and she heard a report that, quote, filled me with foreboding. The day before, Meghan had joined Harry and Prince Charles and Camilla at a garden party at Buckingham Palace to celebrate the Prince of Wales' patronages in recognition of his 70th birthday. She does not say what took place quite yet, but she says she will cover it later on in this book. I can't wait. I suspect it has to do with the picture shown right here, but I can't wait to hear about it. Again, teasing the good stories to come. Ooh, I'm so excited to get into this book. She brings it up to say she was still optimistic until she had dinner at this person's home. They brought up an event that happened here with Meghan, and that is what told her, uh-oh, it's foreboding feeling that, things are not right. Lady C brings up it's Meghan's unsuitability to royal life and Harry's blanket support for her. It just made it all go wrong. Quote, for every foot they put right, they put 4 feet wrong. We've all said the outcome, it could have been so much better. It could have been so different than how it's gone. She concludes the chapter by saying, had any author written a work of fiction with plot along the lines of Harry and Meghan's story, it would have been dismissed as too fantastical to be believed. Oh, so good. I love Lady C. I love this book. Can you tell in my voice? Hopefully you can hear the enthusiasm. I'm so excited to be deep diving into this thing. I'm just thrilled to be here. I truly am. I'm excited to be into this book. I'm excited because it sounds like it's going to be super juicy, and I can't wait. I can't wait to find out more. So thank you so much for watching and sticking with me. I hope you're excited as well. I mentioned it before, but in case you don't know, if you happen to have Audible, the audiobook is available as part of you don't have to pay extra for it if you're already a member. It's one of the included books. So get yourself downloaded. It's not her narrating it, but the narrator I really enjoy. So Check that out. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and for supporting the show. And if you want to further support, again, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps, where you can become an executive producer. So I would like to thank my executive producers so much for all the support. So a huge thank you to you guys for supporting this show. I really appreciate it. So a huge thank you to Kristen. Thank you, Linda. Thank you to Melissa. Huge thank you, Paige. Thank you to Teresa. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Mr. K. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Kay King. Thank you, Glynis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Dewey. Thank you, Patty. Thank you to Adair Becker. Thank you to Erica. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you, Diana LOL. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Pauline. And thank you, KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. And thank you, Catherine. I really appreciate all of you. If you've signed up recently, you don't see your name, don't worry, it's coming. I'm updating the list as quick as I can. But thank you all so much for joining and for supporting. And if you want to become an executive producer, check out patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I do still have Recollections May Vary merch, as well as Make It Make Sense, Hank and Skank, so check that out. Thank you so much for everything. I will see you back for chapter 2. Take care. Bye-bye.